Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, Ministers, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start by expressing my gratitude to the French Associations of the Victims of Terrorism and its Director General, Guillaume de Saint-Marc, for the kind invitation to take part in this 7th International Congress of the Victims of Terrorism. This important event represents an excellent opportunity to address in detail the challenges that the world is facing in confronting the evil of terrorism and eliminating its terrible consequences. Indeed, fight against terrorism cannot be just won if we do not take proper care of its victims. Obviously, efforts to address the grievances of the victims of terrorist attacks should be at the core of our attention. States, non-state actors, and civil society as a whole should redouble their efforts in providing moral, material, medical, consultative, and other forms of support and assistance to this extremely vulnerable segment of our societies. They need to also help them by explaining their rights and sensitizing public opinion to their problems in order to reduce their feelings of isolation. The victims need encouragement to help them find the strength to confront with suffering. We must assure them we will never forget what happened to them. I am confident that the broad range of participants coming from more than 35 countries and representing all parts of the world, including from our country, Azerbaijan, will allow for the most useful and substantive exchange of views. I believe the greatest benefit will come by building dialogue and interaction between the decision makers on the one hand and the victims of terrorism and civil society representatives on the other. It will also provide a unique opportunity for the victims themselves to meet and exchange their personal experiences and solutions to the challenges they found themselves confronted with. Dear participants, terrorism is a threat to all states and to all peoples. It poses a serious threat to our security, to the democratic values of our societies, and to the rights and freedoms of citizens, especially through the targeting of innocent people. Terrorism is a criminal act and cannot be justified under any circumstances. Despite all efforts at the international level, the threat of terrorism remains high. Unfortunately, Azerbaijan has not been spared from this evil, and since the restoration of its independence in 1991, our country has been confronted with military aggression and foreign occupation. It has been subjected to more than 30 terrorist attacks, which cost the lives of more than 2,000 people. After the terrorist attacks of 9/11, the 10th anniversary of which was commemorated a few days ago, Azerbaijan joined the war on terror and has made a significant contribution as a part of international coalition against terrorism. We all know that given the universal nature of terrorism, the success of our individual efforts depends largely on the quality of our international cooperation. In this regard, I warmly welcome the idea of creation of the International Federation of Victims of Terrorism, which will help our joint action in addressing the problems faced by victims. I believe that the Azerbaijan Association of Victims of Terrorism, which was recently created on the basis of French experience and whose representatives are among us today, will contribute to its future success. To conclude, I would like to wish every success to the deliberation of this historic gathering and assure you that Azerbaijan will render its continued support to international efforts aimed at resolving issues related to the victims of terrorism. Thank you for your attention.